I just love cozying up and binge watching Christmas movies all weekend long. How does one person choose what their top 10 favorite Christmas movies are gonna be? That's what the title of this video was gonna be, and then I was trying to narrow it down and I could not do it. Today, we're just gonna talk about my all-time favorite movies. You know, some movies may pop up in my head because anything that has Christmas really in it is my favorite. So I will watch it if there's Christmas in there. And then there's like the Hallmark movies and then like your traditional Christmas movies. So I won't touch on the Hallmark movies because I feel like that deserves its own video entirely for itself. If you are a Hallmark fan or a Hallmarky, that is what Hallmark fans are called, don't worry, I will do a top 10, I will try to narrow it down, top 10 favorite Hallmark Christmas movies that I think you should definitely take a look at this year. There are so many Christmas movies out there, just so many, and these are just my favorite Christmas movies, the ones that I feel like I have to watch to feel like I am in the Christmas spirit or that get me in the Christmas spirit. Maybe I'll point out some Christmas movies that you haven't been familiar with and you want to watch this season, so that's the point of this video. I mean, a lot of the things on here are just classics and almost everybody I am sure has seen these movies, but I just kind of wanted to share with you what I love. So if there is a movie that is not on my list, I definitely might have not checked it twice. I may have missed some movies that I had forgotten about. So just let me know down in the comment section below and I'll let you know if I either have forgotten about it or I need to watch it or I just simply did not like it and that's why it's not on this list. I have this blanket on because it's really cold in my apartment. So let's start off with some of not my I love these movies, obviously they're on my all-time favorite list, but I'm kind of starting off with movies that I love but I don't feel like I maybe need to see every single year, or maybe I do, I don't know. Disney Channel has DCOMs if you don't know, and if you aren't in my generation, because if you are then you know. So one of them is called The Ultimate Christmas Present, and basically it reminds me of my life currently because the movie takes place in LA and the kids have never had a snow day, which is crazy to me because snow days were everything for me. I just love snow days. These kids don't have a snow day. They find this magical machine in Santa's workshop area that is in the States and not at the North Pole. And they find it and then it's a weather machine and they create a snowy blizzard and they're stuck inside and there's just all this stuff that goes on. It's kind of cheesy, but it's Disney Channel obviously, but it's very nostalgic for me because I grew up on it. So you know those movies that you look back on and be like, I probably wouldn't like this if I didn't grow up on the movie. That is the Disney Channel movies for me. And then the second one is called 'Twas the Night. The kids are left with their uncle and the uncle is kind of a bad uncle, and Santa Claus gets knocked out in the living room and the uncle takes Santa's place and he's kind of like gypping off all these people when he goes to the houses to like drop off the gifts. He's like stealing stuff. So I really like that one as well. They are all on Disney Plus, so go check out Disney Plus if you don't have it. I'm obsessed with it lately. Another one that's on Disney Plus is called I'll Be Home for Christmas, and that is with Jonathan Taylor Thomas, another 90s star, and Jessica Biel. Who doesn't know Jessica Biel? She's a goddess. The movie takes place where they're in college and they're trying to get back home for Christmas and just like all this random stuff is happening, and I just recently found that movie probably a couple of years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, and I love it. Of course there's Miracle on 34th Street. That is a classic. I love the 90s version in particular. The older version not so much. It's not that it's older because I do love older movies like It's a Wonderful Life. That's another classic movie, but I just didn't really grow up on those. Like It's a Wonderful Life I didn't really watch when I was growing up, and I watch it now and I appreciate it. It just doesn't hold like a super special place in my heart. I feel like I need to watch it again. I'm gonna watch it again this year and see where my Christmas spirit meter is with it, but that is not like my top favorite movie. I know it is for a lot of people, totally understand that, but it's just not for me. I have a whole list on my phone, so I'm just kind of looking to make sure I don't forget anything. Another great one is Meet Me in St. Louis. It's not really a Christmas movie, but I used to watch it all the time during the Christmas time, so to me, it's on my list. Netflix has a lot of good movies lately. I've been digging them. So I just watched, I think it's called The Night Before Christmas with Vanessa Hudgens, and I really liked The Princess Switch last year. Their Christmas movies are very Hallmark reminiscent, so if you do not like Hallmark, I would not check out the Netflix Christmas movies because they are cheesy and they're not like the best acting of all time, but I really enjoy them. Another classic 90s film is called All I Want for Christmas, and I happened to stumble upon this movie. It was just on TV and I was looking for a Christmas movie and there was nothing else on, so I just turned it on and I was hooked. I loved it. It's with Lauren Bacall, who is an old movie star back in the day. She was stunning. If you don't know who she was, you gotta go look her up. I love old Hollywood, so she's in it. She's a lot older then. And then Thora Birch from Hocus Pocus is actually in it, and she is one of the lead actors in the movie, and it's so cute. Oh, then there's The Holiday with Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jack Black, and then Jude Law. That is so cute. I love that. It takes place in LA and England, and they swap houses and their life just kind of unfolds in these different houses and they're going through a tough time, but that little cottage in England during the Christmas time would be so cozy to stay in. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if that was your Airbnb? They kind of started Airbnb. The claymations are very high up on my list because I feel like that is just Christmas time to me. I grew up on that. I feel like no matter what age you are or what kind of movies that you genre-wise like, everyone just seems to like those movies. They just are for everybody. I feel like my favorite ones are Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, A Year Without a Santa Claus. There is one that I don't particularly like, that I just don't turn on, but I can't remember what it's called because I just don't like it. I just kind of miss the good old days where just simple animations and claymation movements, there's something about it that's not super high-tech and crazy over the top. It's just simple and charming. Another cartoon one I like is the classic Frosty the Snowman. There is a Disney Beauty and the Beast movie that I love. When I was growing up, I used to be obsessed with it because Belle was in it. I was obsessed with Disney princesses, and it just does a really good job of capturing the Christmas spirit. So if you haven't seen that and you're a big Disney fan, make sure you see that. That is also, I believe, on Disney Plus. Then there's Frozen. I don't really think Frozen is a Christmas movie just for me. I don't associate that, but it's definitely like a great wintertime movie. Movies I cannot stand and I just don't like are The Polar Express and Love Actually. Those are two movies that are just not my thing, and they seem to be everybody else's thing but me. So if there's anyone out there in the world who's watching this and is on the same train as me, not the Polar Express train, I don't like the Polar Express train, let me know, because that movie creeps me out. The animation in it is just like almost too realistic, but then not. It's weird, and I don't know, the faces creep me out. And then Love Actually, I just don't like the plot. I really don't. I tried, both of them I tried, but they're just not for me. Another 90s movie that I really like is the American and Ashley movie. If you grew up in my generation, again, you know that Mary Kate and Ashley, just for the girls, the it girls of my generation, and they have a movie called To Grandmother's House We Go. It's not my favorite. I definitely like their Halloween movie more than this one, but I like watching it every now and then. It's not something I have to watch every year, but I own it on DVD, so there's that. Alright, so now we're moving on to the movies that I have to watch every single year without a doubt. I cannot miss these movies, and I had on there Claymations as the start of like this list, but I already talked about it. Then there's The Christmas Story. The Christmas Story I wasn't really a huge fan of until one year I came home for Christmas Eve and it played non-stop on the TV and I had fallen asleep. So like in my dreams I literally just kept hearing The Christmas Story over and over and over, because there's I think 2 channels that just play it non-stop throughout Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. And I don't know, ever since then, I just now associate Christmas Eve with the Christmas Story movie. So every Christmas Eve, I now watch The Christmas Story. Not on repeat though. I try to make sure to turn it off before I go to bed because I don't want to have a Christmas Story nightmares. I do not want to be shot in the eye in my dreams. Then there's Eloise at Christmas Time, and originally that was started off as a book, and I think this is the only movie they've made where there's people playing the characters. So I really like it because it has Julie Andrews in it, and she is just so lovely playing that character. And then it's in the Plaza Hotel, and during you can go ahead, babe. It takes place at the Plaza Hotel in New York City, which we all know New York City is the prime location for Christmas time. Even though I do live in LA now, and I've been to both, and honestly, I think LA does a lovely job at decorating. They deck it out. If you don't know, you should go to the Grove. They have a huge Christmas thing there. Beverly Hills is decked to the nines. Rodeo Drive. Like, I just feel, I was worried when I moved here that I wouldn't feel super Christmassy because of the weather and the palm trees, but during Christmas time they do a really, really nice job. And I love the cute little storyline behind it. So if you've never seen that movie and you're really into watching kid movies, that is a good one. Of course, I have Elf on my list. How could you not, you know? I feel like it's humorous. It has all the Christmas decorations. Again, it's so funny. It cracks me up, and I find new things every time I watch it. We watched this the other night, and it is called Deck the Halls with, there's a lot of famous people in this movie. There is the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm blanking on his name. He's Sarah Jessica Parker's husband. Then there's, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on everyone's name. The guy from Matilda, the dad from Matilda. Then there's Kristen Davis from Sex and the City, Kristen Chenoweth, and then there's like two twins that were on this MTV show a really, really long time ago, and they've done nothing else since then. But it's a great movie. It's hilarious. The dad decks out this house fully with lights. He wants the house to be seen from outer space. And the other dad, who lives across the street, who is from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, is like, whoa, 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 you're blinding us. We can't see anything. It's too loud. There's too much chaos. Like, you gotta stop this. And there's just such a big competition between the two. It's so funny. In the little town that it takes place in, so beautiful. I want to go visit it. If it's real, I would totally go visit it. And it's just all snowy, it's decked out, there's a clock in the middle of the town. It's great. Seems like a great place to live. I adjusted my camera a little bit, so if it looks different, sorry guys. But this next movie is one of my favorite movies, and it holds a very special place in my heart because my dad and I just would watch this movie all the time as a kid, and we just always quote each other back the different lines from this movie. And it is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie to me is just hilarious. So 90s, so Christmassy. There's just everything about it I really enjoy, and my dad and I just always tell each other we're each other's #1 customers. So if you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. But I just think it's so relatable too for a lot of parents, because when you're a kid, I remember like wanting things so badly and just like can't imagine not have it. And when you express that to your parents, all your parents want to do is go find this special toy that you've been talking about nonstop, and then when they can't find it, like, I bet you everyone who is a parent can understand like how heart-wrenching it is, or just like what measures they take to go and find this toy or gift. So that movie is just so great. You have to see it if you're into that kind of stuff. So Christmas with the Cranks, you guys, is honestly, sometimes I debate whether I should put this up further on my absolute favorite list, because I'm obsessed with that movie. I feel like last year I watched that movie about 7 times because I love it so much. Everything about that movie to me is perfection. The actors are so good. The town that they live in, I want to live on a street that decks all their houses out with Christmas decor and puts Frosties on their roof. Sign me up. For a while, this was my, I think, favorite Christmas movie, and then as I got older, it just kind of shifted. But Home Alone 1 was my favorite Christmas movie for so long. Then Home Alone 2 is a good Christmas movie because that takes place in New York. Again, with the Christmas in New York, it's just a classic. You can't go wrong with that. The plot is really good, and some would argue that they think 2 is better than 1. So you let me know, if you're a Home Alone fan, what you think is better, 1 or 2. I really like 3. 3 would not be on my like higher end of my Christmas movies. It'd probably be more back with the ones I talked about in the beginning. But 3 is a really good movie if you do not associate it with Home Alone 1 and 2. Just look at it like it's a completely different movie and you'll like it a lot. I totally understand when movies do that and they get completely different actors and they switch the whole plot line. If you look at this, just add a different title to that movie because it's a good movie and it's really cute. I really do love Home Alone, but I think that the movie only is Christmassy because of the time it takes place in. The actual plot of the movie is not about Christmas. It's basically about a kid who's just left home alone and is running away from people who are trying to rob the house. You could make that any time of the year. The next 2 movies I'm about to talk to you about basically is all about Christmas. So that's why I think they're my favorite. But Home Alone is just, it's Home Alone. How could you not like it? I'm sitting here editing the vlog, Vlogmas day 6, in my bed, and I realized I forgot to mention one of my favorite movies, and that is The Family Stone. That movie is so sweet. It makes me cry every time. It has so many actors in it, and I just think the family dynamic just reminds me of, you know, the closeness of my family and how special family is and how much you have to cherish every time you get to be together, especially during the holidays. You know, every Christmas is going to be a little bit different and you never know who's going to be around or not going to be around. I'm not saying particularly like if someone's dying or not, but you know, sometimes people get torn in different places. You know, you have to go to your in-laws over your like immediate family. So I don't know, there's something about that movie that is just so sweet and special. So I wanted to make sure I put that in here before I close out the video. But Home Alone is up there. I have to watch it every single year, 1 and 2. It's just a classic. It's a classic, and it's in the 90s. I remember going to the movie theaters and seeing this on the big screen, and it is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I love this movie. Anyone who wants to argue that this movie is not good, let's debate, because everything about this movie is Christmas to me. The town that it takes place in, Whoville, is all about Christmas time. That is basically their whole entire life, is to get ready for Christmas. I just love how they made it humanized, and I would have loved to be on that set during the filming of this movie. I just want to be in a town where the buildings are curvy and just everything is so like decked out to the nines there. And the Grinch, Jim Carrey, nailed it. He nailed it. No one could have done that better than Jim Carrey. He was the best person for the job. My absolute favorite scene probably is when the mom of Cindy Lou Who is out front in her house, and then I forget her name, dang it. And then the lady who lives next door to her, which I'm blanking on her name right now, but they basically every single year compete on who has the best lights. So they're outside putting up the Christmas lights. Cindy Lou Who's mom is very insecure because she knows that the girl next door to her brings it. And she did. She whipped out her Christmas light machine and went and it just went all over the house. And I just would love to have that machine. I'd love to have it. I just think it would be the coolest gadget to have of all time. So that is my favorite scene in How to Get Away with Murder. I keep saying that. As for the cartoons for the Grinch, the new one, no. The old one, yes, but every now and then. I don't need to watch that every single year. I know, again, that holds a special place in many people's hearts, but it's just not for me. Now, last but certainly not least, because it is my favorite, it's my all-time favorite Christmas movie that I have to watch every single year. And if you watch my Christmas Q&A, you know that it is Christmas Vacation. I just feel like that movie encompasses how we all feel about Christmas and getting ready for Christmas and the pressures of being around your family or having to make it feel like the absolute perfect Christmas. I feel like every year Christmas comes around and I'm like, okay, well maybe next year I won't do as much. And then every year Christmas comes back around and I'm like, buying all the wrapping paper, I'm doing tinsel on the tree, I'm doing everything extra because I want it to be this perfect Christmas, even though I feel like every year I think I'm gonna scale back the next year. Well, I end up buying like 5 extra ornaments than I'm supposed to. So if you can relate, this movie is so great because I feel like that dad just wants everything to be so special, and then the family comes in and I totally understand the family chaos. The movie is so humorous to me, and again, it wasn't my favorite growing up because I didn't really understand the humor. I was just a kid, and then as I got older, it just was so on point with who I am humor-wise. And I also think that the neighbors next door, Todd and Margot, and their little banter, oh, it's so funny. It's hilarious. It's my favorite Christmas movie. It makes me so happy every time I watch it. I have to watch it with my family friends who I literally watched it for the first time when I was a kid with. We watch it every single year together. It's a tradition of ours. So yeah, those are my favorite Christmas movies. I'm sure I missed a few, so please let me know down below if I've missed anything that you guys absolutely love. I'm gonna go watch a few right now, actually. I know that this is day 6 of Vlogmas, and I'm uploading it a little bit late. I was busy at work, but I hope you guys are having a great Christmas season, winter season, whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope you are doing things that make you feel happy and nostalgic and are bringing joy and cheer to your life. I know I am, and I feel like the month is already kind of going quickly, so I'm trying to slow it down. I just kind of find myself some nights while I'm watching my Christmas movies just looking at my tree. I'm looking at it right now and admiring it, and just looking at the bubble lights going and the tinsel kind of flowing and shimmering within the Christmas lights. I really love tinsel and bubble lights because I feel like it brings a movement to my tree that it kind of needs. My other mini tree is not, it doesn't have any of that movement on there, so it's different. And I was noticing that the other night, that I really love my bubble lights and my tinsel. I just thought it was a really nice touch that I did this year. So yeah, that is the end of this. I hope you guys subscribe and join my little community and keep up with me and the rest of the things that I'm doing this Christmas season. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!